Okay. Hello.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
Hai.
Hai,
Okay.
selamat tengah
Selamat
hari.
tengah hari.
Okay, let
Selamat
me
tengah hari.
name
Selamat
my
tengah
name.
hari. Thank
Apa
you
kabar?
everyone for attending. We're going to make a start in around 7 minutes. So at 3:05 or 4:05 Kuala Lumpur time, Singapore time. This is a hybrid event, so as you can see in Georgina's screen, there are still people registering for the live the live event, and in the webinar we're also waiting for some attendees to attend. So we'll start the presentation at around 7 minutes. So bear with us, and if you'd like to go and get a coffee in the next 7 minutes, please do so. Thank you for joining us. So you can see in Georgina's screen, there's a live event, and with us is Emmeline from Maki, Georgina from Internegri, and Marta from the Indonesian CCIP, and also Meko from BDO, and Antonio Vignal from AFCO Legal, all the way from Lisbon, and then there's Jamie Gui and I from Kuala Lumpur. But we have Portugal behind us though in our screens. And so again, we'll probably start in around 6 minutes. Because this is a hybrid event, so if you can see in Georgina's screen, there are still people registering for the afternoon tea. There's Georgina coming in right there. So yeah, there will be there's a hybrid of afternoon tea event being held, and also this webinar at the same time. So we're still waiting for some attendees to attend. If you'd like to have a coffee, go and grab a coffee. We'll start soon at around 5 minutes time.
Let me do a sound check.
Sure.
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can hear you clearly,
Okay.
Georgina.
Okay, good.
Hi everyone, for those that are just joining us from online on the webinar, we will start in around 5 minutes. This is a hybrid event. As you can see on Georgina's screen, there's still a couple of people attending our live event in the afternoon tea event. And of course, we are joining in the webinar event. I'll just do a little bit of introductions. There's with us today, Emmeline from Maki, and also Georgina Miki from Internegri. Marta, she's not on the screen at the moment, but Marta will be joining us shortly, and she is from CCIIP, and also BDO, MECO, and also Antonio Vignal, all the way from Lisbon. So it's early morning in Lisbon at the moment. And I think, how's the weather, Antonio?
Very beautiful, sunny.
Oh, that's great. We hear that Portugal's getting more tourists now from like
Yes,
the
yes,
UK and all that.
true, true. Things are opening up. Vaccination is up to close to 30%.
Wow.
Full vaccination, meaning
Wow.
when you need those 2 shots. So it's about
Yeah.
30, and those with 1 shot, maybe 10 more, 10,
Wow.
15% more.
Mhm.
So it's going well.
That's wonderful. That's great. So that's great to hear, and we hear that that weather's great. Tourists are coming. The beaches are getting more people as well, and also lots of tourists walking around Lisbon on the weekend. So that's a great thing. I think people are as soon as everything opens up, just can't wait to get out of the country and going traveling. And Portugal is such a great place to go because of the beautiful weather, and I think the weather's beautiful at the moment. So joining us today is also Jamie Gui, and Jamie has a Portugal Golden Visa. So she will be telling her story on why and how she embarked on this program. And myself, Judith, will be going through some of the properties eligible for the Golden Visa as well. And based on some of the research that we do, perhaps some of the properties that we pick and that you may like to pick too. So we'll just wait for another few minutes. We'll wait for Georgina's cue to start. Thank you again for joining us today, and please be patient with us because this event is a hybrid event between a real life event where you can see on Georgina's screen that it's an event where it's also an afternoon tea, and then of course us joining in the webinar as well. And Jakarta, probably with a bit of traffic and all that, we're just waiting for more people to come in and register. So bear with us for the next perhaps around 5 minutes or so, I would say. Georgina, shall we start now with the introductions?
Yes, I think it's better we start now.
Okay, all right, sure.
Okay.
That's great. So to you, Georgina.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this Portugal Golden Visa. Sorry, I have to go this way and this way. So we do a hybrid event this time for Portugal Golden Visa. This is our first hybrid event, and we are live from Costas Marquee in Cyber 2 Tower. Today we have a topic for Portugal Golden Visa, and then can you slide? And back. Sorry for the technical glitch. Okay, so we have some event partners here, Marquee, and also Costas, run by Marquee, and then our main partner is IPS Real Estate, and we are also partnering here with the Indonesian Portugal Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and also with AFCO Legal, and Aris Capital Partner, and also Event Jakarta, and also myself from Internegeri. Okay, so this is our sponsor. Paul, you can come here. This is my friend, he's Belgium. This is my friend Paul from Bule Rabika. Yeah, and then Lilith, my friend, will not join today, but they will sponsor some gift for you who ask questions, some gift, and also this. And Paul will also sponsor some coffee for people who ask questions, either online and offline. Okay. So this is the rundown. So kindly mute your audio while during the presentation, and then you can unmute later on during the question and answer. sorry. And then we have after me, and then we have highlights from Market Executive Office, and then introduction by Marta from Indonesian Portugal Chamber of Commerce, and then BDO will introduce themselves. It's a public accounting, and then we start with the main presentation, and also later on continue by question and answer, and I will do a closing session. So sorry, this is a bit different. So for the Q&A, for you who are offline, just come here because the speaker is here. For you offline, if you ask questions, please come here. And for you who's online, there's a raise hand button. Please raise hands, and then Justin will open the microphone for you if you want to ask verbally. But if you're shy, if you're not comfortable, and then just type in the chat box, okay? And we have giveaways from Bule Rabika and also from Lily, it's a cosmetic, Korean cosmetic, to you guys to ask questions, both offline and online. Continue. Go ahead, Mary. Welcome, everyone. We just started. This is my contact person. That if you don't know my contact details, kindly screenshot your screen if you're offline, if you're online, and then you can chat with me later. Okay. All right, see you guys. I'll be in the monitor room. Okay. No, it's okay. So after this, Marky?
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Emmeline, we can't hear you in the Zoom, so perhaps you have to unmute yourself and mute Georgina's screen. I will mute Georgina's screen and perhaps you unmute yourself. Yeah. And then unmute yourself, Emmeline. Yeah, great. Okay, please try and speak.
Hi, everyone. I'm Emmeline from Marquee. It's still echoing.
There is an echo, so perhaps there is someone else switched on to the Zoom, so that, yeah. Try again with the echo, or use your headphone speakers, perhaps.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
But still echoing.
It's still echoing, but it's okay. I think just proceed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to take you to our promotion. We have the virtual office promotion of free 6 months if you register for 1 year virtual office. So we have currently 13 office locations. So you can choose which location do you like. If you want to get the new more information about this promotion. If you want to have this promotion directly sent to your email, there is a number where you can call through our hotline, which is 021, that's Jakarta, 7599999999, or send email to info@marqueeoffices.com. So I will take you also to another promotion, which is our Flex office. Okay. So if you can see right now, Flex Office meaning it's your solution during this COVID-19 crisis. We are still in the crisis, but we are offering solutions for flexible less term, flexible payment term, and also a flexible solution. So it starts with 1.3 Indonesian rupiah per month, that is on a per person or a per desk calculation. So again, you can go to our hotline, 02175999999, or contact our email address through info@marqueeoffices.com. So thank you. Now I would like to introduce to you Paul from Boli Arabica. So there will be a video presentation. So just if you can play the video of one of our sponsors for the coffee that we are going to have a tasting, and also there's a display around in the Costas restaurant right now.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Emmeline. Martha, let's continue with yours. Let me share your screen. Oh, wait. I lost it.
Okay. I hope everyone can hear me well. Great. You haven't shared the screen.
Huh?
We wait for the slide. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and especially the guests here. Hello, good afternoon. My name is Marta Octavia, and I'm representing the Portugal Indonesia Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So let me introduce what is Portugal Indonesia Chamber of Commerce. of Industry. It is organization established in Portugal and aim to bridging cooperation between two countries since 2012. Next slide. So it is an independent organization that has been established since 2012 in Portugal that aim to be strategic interface between two countries. So we are a communities of business communities and association that now have around 30 members from Portugal who have business in Portugal and also in Indonesia or any other Asian country and very interested in Indonesian market. We are keen to have more members in Indonesia to broaden up our memberships. Next. The organization structure, as you can see here, we have our president is located in Lisbon, Portugal, Mr. Ilidio Ayala Serodio, and also with the structure of the members from the vice president of the chamber, assistant to the president, treasurer, director and board member, secretary general, and myself as Indonesian country representative. Next. Before we go further, I would like to share also a very interesting video about why, as a business, we should invest in Portugal as well. Justin, would you kindly play us the video?
In an increasingly globalized world, how does a country stand out? This is a country made of land and sea, a crossroad between the Mediterranean and the Atlantic, a link between cultures and continents. This is the homeland of talented people, a founding member of the Euro, a gateway to a market of 500 million people. This is the home of a world leader in fast and ultra-fast chargers for electric vehicles, a country that produces more than half of its energy out of renewable sources, a privileged partner for innovation. Every day, more and more companies come to work and think with us. We also produce cars, but above all, we think cars. Think the green road ahead of us, and think the future. Innovation is taking the country to new frontiers. This is the world's biggest cork producer, transforming cork for the most traditional and revolutionary uses, from the top of the most precious wine bottles in the world to thermal shields and rockets and spaceships destined for space. This is a leading tourist destination in the world, a competitive and sustainable location, a top country in providing technological services, host of great international events integrated in some of the most important value chains in the world that attracts and keeps some of the most talented people. So how does a country stand out in an increasingly globalized world? Well, I guess it's by welcoming the world and bridging cultures. Portugal, talented and welcoming.
Thank you, Justin, for the video. And we can go back to the slide, Georgina. Me, myself, I've been living in Portugal for the past 5 years. I live in the city of Porto. It's a very beautiful city. I recommend everyone to go there and visit. And next slide. The services from the Chamber of Commerce, we mainly would like to support market entry for the companies in both countries, whether it's a Portuguese company to go to Indonesia or also Indonesian company who would like to go to Portugal. We would like also to give excellent advice on particular sector or industry, and also we provide networking between the two countries. Next. The benefits of paying members is access to local market, of course, from Indonesian companies to Portugal, and also it will give more credibility for a company, and also to give broad networking and marketing from member. Next. So we are very glad to be here and to also co-host this event today. I'm sure you will listen a lot of useful information. Please connect with us through LinkedIn or email or contact with me directly. Thank you so much. I give back the control to Georgina.
Thank you, Marta. Our last introduction is from BDO. It's a tax accounting firm, and I will let Miko. Please, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Michael. Okay, let me introduce myself first. My name is Miko. I'm the business development of BDO, especially from the South branch at Tertiary Towers. Okay, let me share about our profile. Okay, so probably we need to introduce about our firm. Yes, as it's on focus on the audit and assurance services. With the full name is KAP Tanubrata Sutanto, Fami, Bambang, dan rekan.
Sorry, Michael, can you talk louder? Can you speak louder, please?
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay, our audit firm is been founded by Richard B. Tanubrata since 1979. So it's already been about 42 years ago. Now, we are fairly excellent to provide audit and assurance services, yeah, kan? Because we have more 500 professionals that support it, from the junior auditors, senior auditors, and also the senior partners. Okay. Now, let me go next here. Okay. Now, as you know that we are one of the franchise audit firm, yeah, kan, from the BDO Global. So because of we have the affiliation with that one, so we very supported with the global industries. And as you know, like technology, life science, media, real estate, public sectors, financial services, natural resources, and private equity. It means other word that we know about that as industry specialization, so we can support a lot of industry. Okay, and as I just say that there are many various industry that we can support it, like professional services, manufacturing, customer, retail, business. Also for the NGO, trading, transportation, logistics, and also others. And also for the hot industries, as you know, like nowadays is the current industry like healthcare during the pandemic, startup, new energy, clean tech, and also the fintech. Okay. Can I go for now? This is our coverage. So as you know that we already have 91,000 people as the professional. We already been spread for 137 countries and territories with 1,650 offices, include in Indonesia we have 4. One is the head office at the Production Tower. We also have at Bandung, at West Jakarta, and also in the South Jakarta. Okay, for the local, we have 500 professional staff, 5 offices. The journey started 1979. Okay, and 28 partners. Okay. As the audit firm, of course, we need to be registered. It means we need to be acknowledged by some of the associations or finance association like Pusat Pembinaan Profesi Keuangan, Institut Akuntan Publik Indonesia, Otoritas Jasa Keuangan, Ikatan Akuntan Indonesia, Badan Pemeriksa Keuangan, Lembaga Penjamin Simpanan, Public Company Accounting Oversight of Board. Nah, and this is some of the governance principle that we have it. Okay, the most important that we can give the employment value proposition and quality assurance review. And so on. Okay. And this is our leadership team. As you know that we have 7, ya kan? Fahmi, Mr. Fahmi as the managing partners, Wawa Sutanto as the council members, Sebasa Wali, okay, international license partner, Industry Widowo, okay, as the IRS country leaders, Harry Sunato as the head of the South branch, Chai Herman as the head of the West Jakarta branch, and Bambang Budi Tresno as the head of the Bandung branch. Okay, and last, any kind of contact or communicate with us to know about our services, you can contact it to head office or at Bandung, West Jakarta, or South Jakarta. With me, with the South Jakarta branch, Mr. Meko. Thank you.
Okay, now let's start the webinar. Judith, time is yours.
Jamie, to you. I'll just introduce Jamie. Jamie has a golden visa, and so she will tell her story on the Portugal Golden Visa and why she embarked on the program.
Thank you, Judith. Selamat petang to everyone, and thank you so much for your time again. I think most of the time, a lot of people have always asked me why I wanted to do the Golden Visa and why is it relevant for today's day and age. I think with this whole pandemic, this whole COVID thing has actually made us rethink, right? Whether there is a need basically for us to look at an option or plan B. And honestly, when I first looked at this alternative residency about 4 years ago, this was way before the pandemic. The reason why we actually did it was because we wanted to have an option for our children, because I think the reality is we don't really know what will happen in 5 years' time or 10 years' time, what sort of education that they may require. And we wanted to take advantage of the fact that we wanted to use the Portuguese Golden Visa as a gateway for us to access Europe. The program is actually a government program, and I'm actually in my 4th year of my Golden Visa. And since then, it has become one of the most successful residencies in the world. And it has been extremely beneficial. And most importantly, with this card itself, that you actually get after you get an approved Golden Visa, this card that you saw earlier will actually allow you to travel, especially during this COVID period. They will allow you still to enter Europe without needing a visa, and you can stay 90 out of the 180 days with that visa itself. So I think one of the key points in just to summarize why we decided to make the investment was, firstly, I think amongst all the other residency programs in the world, it is actually one of the most affordable residencies, from as low as actually 280,000 euros. Number two, for those who are actually still not decided whether you want to relocate, the wonderful thing about the program, it doesn't require you to relocate. All you need to do is just spend an average of 7 days per year. And after 5 years, you can actually apply for your PR or citizenship. The next thing to know also, the residency requirements is actually very quick. If you have already made a decision, you can actually get you an appointment basically to do your biometrics within the next 6 months, and thereafter get your residency issued. I think one of the most important criteria that we evaluated was also the fact whether we could bring the family along. I think during this pandemic, a lot of families are separated. And because some of the children is studying overseas and they don't have a legal residency to be together with their family. So what I love about the program is you can reunify up to 3 generations, and including like your parents or even your in-laws who are 66 and above can also be reunified without needing a medical health check, which is the only residency in the world that allows you to get a residency without a medical health check. So I think that actually becomes a huge benefit and ease of application for the entire family to be together. Next, in terms of healthcare as well, Portugal is also ranked 12th in the world. They have actually handled the pandemic very well. We were just talking to Antonio, already 30% of the population has been vaccinated. And with the Portuguese Golden Visa, we can live, work, and study in Portugal during the duration of the 5 years, and even get free education up to secondary level in Portugal itself. So I would say in a nutshell, most of the clients and also myself and in general, what we've decided to do also, the Portuguese Golden Visa, is also to look at the fact that we can apply potentially for a PR or a citizenship. Now, the difference between the permanent residency and the citizenship is the permanent residency is just more or less a continuation of the Portuguese Golden Visa benefits, which will allow you to live, work, and study in Portugal for a limited period of time and stay 90 out of 180 days in the Schengen area with that with the PR. However, should you decide to choose citizenship, you will then be able to live in any of the 27 European countries. You can work across any of the European countries without needing a work permit. You can apply as a free individual and into any of the organizations. And in addition to that, you can also study for free in some of the public institutions or at reduced fees, that you only pay like 5% of the fees as administration fees to the universities as a European citizen. And of course, the European education system also allows you to also have various training and internship programs which will allow you to then be able to study in these differing countries during the duration of your education, which is a wonderful opportunity for our children. And of course, the fact that you can also live for unlimited period time in any of the 27 countries also makes it very exciting. So when we talk about 27 countries, these are actually the 27 countries that we are actually looking at. And most of this, and you will realize that there are actually many countries in addition to Portugal that you can study English only education. So you could, such as like Ireland and so on. So you have all these countries that basically that you can access, and you have a free market to actually look for jobs after graduation, which I think as a parent, this is important because we have to not limit our children's potential, but allow them actually to look at the possibility of reinventing and their own chart of life, and giving them that gateway to access Europe in whichever profession that they choose. So because of that, I think this program is a wonderful opportunity. And also not forgetting the fact that the Portuguese passport is actually the 5th most powerful passport in the world, because it allows us as non-European citizens, and by being a citizen, it allows us to then, by using the passport, be able to access some of the countries, such as even like the US or Canada, without actually needing to apply for a visa. So this passport then becomes very important. And I think it's a wonderful opportunity for everyone to consider at some point in your life, and that you can bring the whole family along in this journey with you. Last but not least, of course, I made a decision to embark on this journey because I also met Antonio Vignal, who is actually my lawyer and who's still my lawyer, who's handling my cases. I've been extremely happy with the work, and since then, been introducing a lot of friends and family, friends and members and relatives to him, and also our clients, especially because I think he's given us a lot of comfort with our investment, because I think that's important to have a trustable and reliable and unbiased view from someone who will take care of your investment in a foreign country is extremely important. So over to you, Antonio. Perhaps you could share a little bit more about the program and the specifics of how to apply for the Golden Visa.
Sure. Thank you, Jamie, for your very kind introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. And I will be walking you today through some of the most relevant features of the Golden Visa program in Portugal. As you can see on screen, they're very simple, easy to follow, basic criteria. Number one, you need to choose an investment and keep it for 5 years. Number two, you must also keep a clean police check, criminal record. And the minimum stay in Portugal is also very easy to comply with. you will get 3 cards, each for a duration of 2 years, and you need to stay 14 days in the first 2 years, 14 days in the next 2 years, and 7 days during year 5. And you can spend all these days in one go, or you can also break them up during each period of time. So moving on, these are the most popular investment options. Here we have, as you can see, fund route, property route, and business. Definitely the number one option is the property route. Right now, you can go through the possibility of purchasing any kind of property anywhere in Portugal for at least 500,000. So you can choose one or more. Or you can buy a property that is at least 30 years old, located in an urban rehabilitation area, and your investment is 350,000 euros. So the cost of the property and the cost of the refurbishment needs to reach 350,000 euro. If we are looking into less populated areas, the threshold falls from 350 to 280,000. After December 31st, 2021, new rules will come into force. And the most relevant of which, regarding the property option, is that residential properties in the more populated areas, places like Lisbon, Porto, etc., these will no longer qualify as an investment eligible for the GV option. So we can, or you can invest still in these areas in commercial properties, retail properties, office space, etc., or still, if you wish to go the residential route in the interior of Portugal and also in the beautiful islands of Madeira and Azores. And now we will take a look at, well, as Jimmy mentioned, you can reunify up to 3 generations. And of course, this would include not only main applicant and spouse or partner, but as well, children under 18, children above 18 too. We just need to make sure and prove that they are still financially dependent, meaning that they're single and that they're still studying, for instance. Parents, applicants' parents or the spouse's parents can also be reunified as long as we can also show this financial dependency, for instance, let's say they're pensioners. So now we move on to, I believe, citizenship issues. So after 5 years, you would come to a fork in the road and you can opt for citizenship or permanent residency. Now, for citizenship, you basically need to have complied with the Golden Visa program for 5 years, pass a simple Portuguese language test. How simple, you might ask? Well, you need just an A2 level. In the European Common Framework of Languages, we would have A, the easiest level, and C, the hardest level. And A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, C1, C2, C3. So A1 is the easiest and C3 the hardest, and you would just need an A2 level. So this is something generally you would not have to be concerned about. In terms of timeline, how would we be looking at things? Number one, we need to obtain a tax number for you. Why is this? Because you will be purchasing a property, taxes will be paid, you need to hold a tax number. And also this is relevant for the purpose of opening a bank account. And you will also need a Portuguese bank account because the Portuguese bank will attest that the money has come from outside into your own Portuguese bank account. And from your Portuguese bank account, the money will be dispersed to the developer, to the contractor, etc. Then you will, of course, identify your specific investment. We would review the agreements and all the terms and conditions. We would get to the point of submission, and the submission itself consists of 2 phases. Number one, online phase. No need to travel. This is done online, and we wait 2 to 3 months, after which we would obtain the pre-approval. And this means that you would now become eligible to travel to Portugal, get your biometrics done, and from there, we would wait a number of months until your card is actually issued and approved. After year 2, we would repeat the process, and after year 4, we would repeat the process. Just remember that the cards issued are valid for 3 periods of 2 years each. Okay, so we might see it a little clearer on the next slide. Again, 3 cards, valid for 2 years each. Minimum stay period 14 days in the first 2 years, 14 days in the next 2 years, 7 days on your 5th year. Then you get an extra year, which comes in useful while we wait for your citizenship or permanent residency application to be processed. In terms of fees, these are government fees. What are we looking at? So in any of the cards, we will have first a processing fee and then an issuing fee. The processing fee is 533 euro, and this is for the main applicant and for the family members. First card has a cost of 5,300 euro. The renewal cards are a little different. Processing fee is the same. The issuance of the card is half the cost of the first card, so just 2,600 euro. So there you have it in a nutshell, around 2,000 euro over the 5 years. And finally, we will take a look at taxes. If you're purchasing a property, taxes will be involved. First of all, when purchasing your property. And I would also like to make a note in saying that properties in Portugal are generally freehold. So yours to keep in perpetuity, and you can sell them later on to anyone. Foreigner, local, no difference. So upon purchase, you have 2 taxes to take care of. Number 1, transfer tax. That's on a sliding scale. That would depend on the cost of the property generally. And then stamp duty, which is fixed at 0.8%. Then, if you decide to make money on your investment, if you decide to, let's say, lease your property, and obviously you will get some income, that income has to be declared in Portugal. Okay, and you would be charged long-term lease 28% as a non-resident. Tax on short-term rental income is lower. It amounts to around 12.5%. And then you would also have annual property tax, council tax, whichever name you want to give it. And this is levied between 0.3 and 0.45% on the property's tax value. And this is important to stress, not on the market price, not on your purchase price, but on the property's tax value as assessed by the tax authorities. So from a tax perspective, it is also a very sound proposition. We would be looking at a country that has no gift and inheritance tax, a country that has no wealth tax, and a very low tax on income from short-term rental. So to sum it up, you would have Golden Visa, sound investment, and good returns. That's all from me right now. You will be taken care of by Judith, who will highlight some of the exciting features of Portugal and will walk you through the many marvels of this country. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Thanks, Antonio. Okay, so a little bit about Portugal. Usually in a live event, we have a show of hands who has been to Portugal before, and Marta stayed in Portugal for 5 years. So you can actually ask Marta a lot of about Portugal after this. So Portugal is on the west side of Spain. It is known actually currently because of the popularity of the Golden Visa program as a gateway to Europe. And it's a geographical gateway, but also a literal, I suppose, a gateway into the Euro passport. Just to summarize the program, it's a very a simple program, only 3 criteria. One is you can invest in a qualifying asset, which we're going to show you some properties right up next. And then a clear NBI or a clear police check, and just the 14 days stay every 2 years. And that's it. The benefit of the program, particularly after citizenship. For example, a lot of our clients have benefits, of course, of the alternative passport or the alternative of the Schengen visa, and also benefits for children. So for example, if we were to send our children to, say, Ireland and study medicine, say in the University of Dublin, then the cost of that is reduced from 40,000 euros per year to about 4,000 euros a year. So multiply that by a long course for medicine, and also maybe 2 or 3 children, that is already the cost of the investment and the cost of the property if you choose the property route. So so in the way you get a free property or free education, depending how you look at it. But also then there's also lots of opportunities for a work experience for our children. For example, we have a client doing museum curation, and she wants to work in France. Lots of different opportunities there, stem cell research in Switzerland, etc. So Portugal has a population of 10.5 million people. Portuguese is actually the 5th most spoken language in the world. So if you know how to speak Portuguese, actually, you cover a lot of the world. Capital is Lisbon, currency is euro. There's a beautiful climate, and Antonio was mentioning how beautiful the climate is at the moment. It's actually famous for its beaches, thus making it a really nice country to live in. English is widely spoken, 60% speak English. So you have no problem getting by in English. It's the 3rd safest country in the world after Iceland and New Zealand. And Iceland, all that is ice, New Zealand sheep, outnumber people 7-1. So for a country with people, it's actually a very safe country. It's actually the #1 best travel destination in Europe at the moment. It's handled the COVID really well. It's famous for its beaches, and it's considered a safe country to travel to. It's also a 2nd for having affordable healthcare in Europe. It is also the world's has the 5th most powerful passport, as Jamie mentioned, 186 countries without visa. It also ranks 10th place in the ranking of the world's best democracies, and it's very proud of its average life span. It has a very good health system, and thus very healthy people as well. Cost of living is relatively low, so Jakarta ranks 33, but Lisbon ranks 134 in big cities in the world. So cost of living is low, and that's why it's also a retirement destination and an expat destination. So this article in the Residence is extraordinary. Portugal ranked as best country for Americans to retire to. It has an attractive tax scheme. So actually it's best 2020 retirement destination. Portugal actually ranks #1, then Panama, Costa Rica, Mexico. It's also one of the top expat destinations. It's the 3rd actually after Taiwan and Vietnam as well. So in fact, in education as well, Marta played a video earlier. It actually ranks very highly. It ranks 35th best in the world education rankings, and it has one of the best MBA programs in the world. And in terms of English, you won't have any problem getting by. 60% speak fluent English, much like Singapore and Malaysia. You won't have any problem getting by. It's also known as the technology hub of Europe, as Marta played in the video earlier. Amazon, Vestas, you saw the turbines. Vestas has invested a lot into Portugal in their technology divisions, Google, IBM as well. Bosch and Volkswagen and Mercedes have their IT divisions. It's popular for their web summit as well. So there's a lot of technology now happening in Portugal. It's known as the land of startups. So it's like the Silicon Valley of Europe. So Portugal is also ranked #1 in terms of the 2019 emerging trends in real estate. Lisbon ranked the 1st. Also, this recent report by EY ranks Portugal actually in the top 10 now in foreign direct investment in Europe. And there's a lot of confidence in the Portugal economy. 90% are confident with the Portuguese economy. There has been 154, even during this time, registered FDI projects in 2020. And even in 2020, imagine that. So, and also, the sectors where they are in is in technology, in digital economy, as we mentioned earlier as well. So Northern and Portugal and Lisbon area have consolidated their position in the FDI attraction. So I'll just give a little bit of a story or a tour around Lisbon area. Lisbon is in the center of Portugal, on the west side center of Portugal, and it has a river running through it called the Tagus River, and it's a very wide river. It actually, if you're standing from the center of the city, it looks a little bit like the sea, except you will see a bridge, which is also the bridge behind me in my screen, and it is called the April the 25th Bridge. So this is the famous bridge, and almost every single tourist picture you see in of Lisbon has this bridge inside. So around north of this bridge and towards where this pin is the center of Lisbon. It's actually not a very big city. If you walk from one part of the this city to the other part in this sort of a red box, or around the middle of this red box, it's probably around a 1 hour walk north to south and east to west, and that basically covers the hot property areas in Lisbon. But Lisbon actually spans a little bit bigger than that. It spans all the way from the east side, Park Nations, right to Cascais, which is like their beach resort. But the center of the city is very, very much focused around here, around where this red pin is. And as we say, it's not actually a very big city. So it is actually quite dense. And that the great thing about it is there's lots of people that live there, and it is very concentrated. And so very good for the economy, and certainly very good for property investment because of the people and just simply the market size around there. So right at the center is a roundabout called Marquês Pombal, and that's basically like the Arc de Triomphe, where, and then after that, a road called Avenida Liberdade, where it is basically like the Champs-Élysées. It is the shopping road. So this red area and this purple area has actually boomed since 2012. It's just boomed tremendously. And so what we have found is properties then around 2012 were around 7,000 per square meter, and now it's at least 10,000 per square meter. In fact, the new properties are being listed at around 13,000 per square meter in this red area, Avenida Liberdade. What we like to do is focus around these areas. So in this gray area called Campo Ric, in this area called Avenida Novas, this area called Colina Santana, and also some of the historic zones over here, and also Estrela over here, Lapa and Estrela. So these are the areas that we typically like to focus in. Also an area here called Alcantara, and I'll also brief a little bit why. And so this is some of the valuations in this area according to JLL in year 2020, and it is the average of old and new properties, and this is basically what we base a lot of our research on. Of course, we also like to pick properties near the metro. So as you can see, this is the Tagus River, and Avenida is just here. So this white area here is, I suppose, what you'd call Zone 1, and that's where all the metros interconnect. Interestingly enough, there's also an expansion of the metro between Rato and Cais de Sodré, and so this area also we feel is due for great capital appreciation and expansion as well throughout the next few years. So I'm just going through a couple of properties that we choose in the Lisbon area, and also explain a little bit about the Lisbon area at the same time. So again, Lisbon has a river running through it, and I'll be covering the properties mainly around this area over here, between this area here where there's the LX factory, and I will use this bridge or the bridge behind me as a sort of a point of reference, and also Avenida Liberdade, where you'll see all the Louis Vuitton and the Pradas and all that as the other area of reference as well, because these are basically the areas where people live, people work, and there's tourists around this area as well. So these are the good areas that will see capital appreciation. This particular property is called Auric Door, and this is the view looking north to south. Just now the view was kind of looking direct on or south to north, and this is north to south, where you see that bridge again at the over here. There's an area which is a food and beverage area, and also a market area called the LX Factory. It's known to be one of the trendiest places to hang out in Lisbon at the moment. lots of tourists there actually this weekend. And so around here on the other side of this property, of this red dot, is also Avenida Libertad, where you would see Louis Vuitton, Rolex, Loewe, Fendi, and all the brands. And so there we have right in the center of it a property called Auric Door. Auric Door is also opposite a shopping center called Amoreras. I will actually play a video on Auric Door right at the end of this presentation. But I just wanted to show you that this is one of the properties, but we also market other properties in the Lisbon area. But this is actually one that we quite like, and we have chosen, and somehow our clients also have chosen to invest in, simply because of its great location around the LX factory. You can walk, by the way, to the river. It's around a 20-minute walk, and it's also a 20-minute walk into Avenida Libertad as well. So it's right kind of in the center, opposite Amoreras, which is a 5-minute walk from Amoreras. Amoreras is also where it's the CBD too, where companies like Hitachi, Accenture, Apple, their electricity company, have their headquarters in. And of course, because of that, it's near famous hotels like Four Seasons, Intercontinental, and Sofitel as well. So it's all kind of happening around here. It's in the center. It's also right in the center near the Time Out Market and the embassies area as well. So there's also a school there called Redbridge School, which is a very popular IGCSE school, because it's also an expat area, actually known for French to live around this area. So this is the property. This is what it looks like. There's 38 properties inside. What's interesting about this is it's 350,000 eligible. So it's in the urban rehabilitation area and more than 30 years old. And it's actually close to everything. And this building has lifts and parking as well. So it's a great project. For some that want to choose retail, we also have a project called Santa Barbara. It is in, it's a street retail. So, so there's a few units at the bottom of this building that's available. It's also 350K eligible. It is a commercial, so it's a shop. And there's the rental guarantee for this one, 4% and 5-year rental guarantee. It's close to the central bank. So just a stone's throw away, or actually the next building is the central bank, which is obviously a great employer in Lisbon, but it's also walkable and close to, again, Avenida Libertad, where all the shops are, and also close to Intendente, and Intendente is an area where there's lots of trendy shops and trendy food as well around the area, lots of like commercial activity as well happening in the area. But it's also, if you like to walk all the way to Prasha Commercial, it's probably a 20-minute walk also down to the river. So it's also a great project in terms of commercial, and commercial will continue being eligible for the Golden Visa program after 2021. So it's also a good investment. We also have this project here in, it's called Patio do Barão, and it's in Alameda, again, not too far away from the Avenida Libertad area. It's near a famous park called Alameda, and also near a famous market called Orioles Market. And there are some duplexes and terraces around this area, which is also a really, really nice project. Again, it's 350,000 eligible. There's a rental guarantee of 3% for 5 years, and it's close to the markets. It's actually also close to the main CBD, sorry, the commercial area or the office area where Antonio's office is in Saldana. So it's also close to, and it's close to the train station as well, Alameda train station. And it's, I think Alameda is just 1 or 2 stops away from Saldana as well. So it's a very, very central location as well. And there are some terrace units available there. So again, this is a nice project that we like. If one is looking for something ready, there's this project in Príncipe Real. Príncipe Real has been known. Again, the bridge is just here. It's near the Time Out Market. Again, walkable to Avenida Libertad. And it's known to be the trendiest neighborhood actually to live in the world, actually one of the trendiest neighborhoods. It's called Príncipe Real, and this project is completed. Of course, being completed, it would fall under the 500,000 scheme, and this project is a great project as well. There is another project here very near the bridge. We always get asked for projects near the bridge and with river views. This one, Alcantara 55, has that. It's a riverfront property. It's completed as well, almost completed. And it's in the neighborhood is Alcantara, right next to the LX factory. So very trendy neighborhood and really beautiful place to live as well. So and that's LX 55 in Alcantara. If one would like a villa, there are villas in Palmela village as well. We really like this because it is a golf resort and there are some ready units there. These are houses. It's only 36 minutes drive, actually about half an hour drive from Lisbon. And it's, as you can see, it's all built up around this area. There is a golf resort there, some villas. It's a golf neighborhood, just 36 minutes from Lisbon CBD. And it's an area where there's a lot of international schools, representing that there's a lot of international community there, and also a lot of offices and international offices nearby as well. So this is called Palmela Village. It's a really nice, actually, residential area in Lisbon. And falling under the 280,000 scheme, as Antonio mentioned earlier, that this 280,000 is in a little bit more of the interior. It's sort of less dense parts of the country. And this one in Alcácer do Sal is really nice. It is near, sort of on the way to the beach. Typically, Lisbonites will go to Comporta for a beach holiday, and it is actually on the way. It is also an area where there's lots of agriculture around the area. So so there are lots of residents that stay there for agriculture. And also the phase 1 is sold out. It's 280,000 eligible. It's a growing town and it's only 1 hour out from Lisbon. So this is a very attractive project as well. This project has a 4% rental guarantee as well for 5 years. There's also this project here in Sagres, and Sagres, Lisbon is here. Sagres is in Algarve. We also get asked a lot about Algarve. Algarve is on the south beach of Portugal, so it covers actually almost all of Portugal in the south beach. The airport being in Faro over here, and this is a very attractive beach called Sagres. It is a surfing beach, and there are also there's a property here, really great for Airbnb and will be run like a hotel, but you will own it, and it's newly launched. It's 280,000 eligible. It is a growing town in Sagres. It's a really popular holiday destination for the surfers, and again, there's a 3% rental guarantee on this one for 5 years as well. So it's a really nice little project as well in the beach area of Algarve. We also like a town which is on the west side, on the east side of Lisbon, and it's called Évora. So Évora is a circular city. It is actually an old Roman town, but what's great about it is the capital of the Alentejo region, where you would typically go there to trade for agricultural products such as grapes, vegetable and fruit, olive oil, cork as well. Just a bit of trivia. Every 7 out of 10 bottles of wine, the cork is probably produced in Portugal. That's because that's where the trees that can produce cork are. And also, of course, beef and cheese and grain and pulp paper as well. That's what these form the exports, the major exports of Portugal, agricultural exports. And it is basically the wine tasting and all that is centered around this city called Évora. It's also a great tourist city called, and there's a temple there. It's a old Roman temple, the Temple of Diane, and lots of visitors go there for holidays, for children holidays, and also it's also on the way to Spain. So if one drives to Spain from Lisbon, you probably stop by Évora for either lunch or overnight, and then drive to Spain. So this is a project 280. We really see a lot of potential in this city in Évora. And so there's also a project here called LP9. So these are some of the examples of projects that we have. And while Justin, if you'd like to share the video on Campo Ric. So Campo Ric is the project that I first showed earlier on, and it is a project in Lisbon. It has seemed to be our most popular project because of its central location and also potential growth in terms of capital appreciation and also a strong yield. So Justin will play the video. So I'll just close with sharing our details. You can contact us on these numbers when you wait. Hang on, let me just go to the next screen. Oops. There we go. Contact us. My name is Judith, and Jamie, who has the Golden Visa. So if you'd like to contact her on some of the stories, we will be sending you a summary of the Golden Visa program and also some of the properties which we showed. And you can also email us or WhatsApp us to send a recording of this presentation as well. So thank you very much. We will move on to question and answers. And one of the questions is, there's 27 countries list. I can't see Norway.
Judith, sorry.
Yes, sorry.
Judith, can I interrupt?
Sure.
Let me, wait, hang on.
Sure.
Let me start with, hang on. I have to Zoom. Hang on, let me turn it off first. Okay, so let me do a summary in Bahasa because some of the audience, asked me to do a summary in Bahasa before we move to Q&A. Martha will lead the Q&A, so and you just answer the question, okay? Okay.
Can you hear me? Oke. Bapak Ibu ya, terutama yang di sini ya. Dari tadi saya ngadepnya ke sini terus. Saya summary sedikit ya. Dalam bahasa Indonesia. Jadi untuk Portugal Golden Visa ini, dia orang bisa dapat permanent resident, artinya izin tinggal ya, dengan membeli properti hak milik minimal 280.000 euro. Ya, minimal 200, itu belum termasuk biaya yang lain ya, minimal 280.000 euro. Nah, untuk properti ini hanya tahun terakhir untuk minimal 280.000 euro tahun terakhir. Dan itu di Lisbon, Porto dan kota-kota besar itu terakhir, karena tahun depan itu naik menjadi 500.000 euro 500.000 euro dan sudah tidak bisa lagi beli propertinya di Lisbon, Porto, Algarve dan kota-kota di pantai ya. Jadi hanya bisa di kota-kota yang lain. Dan itu minimal 500.000 euro. Jadi kalau Bapak Ibu misalnya interest dengan Portugal Golden Visa ini harus tahun ini. Kalau mau murah ya, kalau mau mahal ya boleh tahun depan 500 juga boleh gitu. Jadi kalau mau yang dapat harga yang, jadi tahun depan memang pemerintah Portugal mau menaikkan harganya gitu ya. Nah di Portugal ini tidak perlu lama-lama untuk minimum stay ya, beda misalnya Australia, New Zealand, Kanada, Amerika itu semua perlu minimum stay yang lama ya. Kalau untuk Portugal ini tahun pertama dan kedua itu 14 hari. Jadi tahun pertama kedua stay-nya 14 hari. Boleh dicicil 7 hari atau langsung 14 hari boleh. Pokoknya dalam 2 tahun 14 hari. Tahun ketiga keempat juga 14 hari stay di Portugal. Dan tahun kelima 7 hari. Dan terus untuk ke sana, untuk Portugal ini nantinya uangnya tuh tidak langsung, nanti duit saya hilang kemana gitu ya, takutnya transfer nanti orangnya hilang. Nanti kita tuh harus buka, peserta Golden Visa ini, applicants-nya ini harus buka rekening bank atas nama Anda sendiri di Portugal. Nah, caranya nggak harus datang ke Portugal terus buka rekening, bisa dari Jakarta dengan power of attorney. Jadi nanti lawyernya yang bukain di sana. Nah, power attorney ini nanti Bapak Ibu akan sign, tanda tangan di depan pejabat kedutaan besar Portugal. Saya kemarin juga nganter klien ke sana untuk sign power of attorney. Nanti pejabat kedutaan juga akan sign, nanti dicap pakai emboss begitu. Nah, itu aslinya, file aslinya saya yang kirim ke tempatnya Antonio Viñal, lawyernya. Nanti dia yang bukain rekening itu untuk Anda dan Anda transfer dulu semua uang itu ke rekening Anda sendiri di sana. Jadi gitu, dari sana baru nanti dapat perintah untuk nanti si Jamie atau Judith ya, yang bagian properti, Jamie yang bagian legal, nanti dokumen. Itu nanti yang perintah, oh transfer dulu sekian minimal sekian ke developer. Nanti transfer lagi ke sini gitu. Jadi staging gitu. Kayak gitu. Nah, kurang lebih seperti itu. Nah, benefitnya one moment, Judith, 2 minutes. Nah, untuk Portugal Golden Visa ini, Bapak Ibu bisa bekerja. Kalau di kayak yang lain ya, untuk negara Eropa yang lain misalnya ada Spain atau Cyprus, itu boleh bisnis tapi nggak boleh kerja. Tapi kalau Portugal ini boleh kerja di sana dengan Golden Visa ya. Nah, namanya Golden Visa itu bukan PR ya, permanent resident kan. Permanent resident. Jadi Golden Visa itu seperti temporary resident. Jadi setelah 5 tahun baru apply PR. Nanti kalau sudah dapat PR-nya itu, propertinya baru boleh dijual. Jadi exit-nya nanti tunggu 5 tahun setelah dapat PR. Jadi sekarang hold dulu. Nah, dalam 5 tahun ini ada 2 kali renewal. Jadi nanti ada biaya lawyer itu untuk 5 tahun. Renewalnya ada. Kayak gitu. Kurang lebihnya seperti itu. Nah, kapan ke Portugal? Ke Portugal itu nanti setelah submit dokumen setelah buka bank account dulu ya, buka bank account, terus submit dokumen, nah nanti pihak imigrasi akan memberitahu kapan saatnya biometrik. Biometrik itu sidik jari ini ya, seperti bikin paspornya, sidik jari digital dan foto ya, itu nggak bisa diwakilkan. Itu nanti pihak imigrasi akan memberitahu lawyer dan lawyer ini akan mengirimkan undangan, memberikan pemberitahuan kepada kedutaan besar Portugal. Karena kalau enggak dapat visa Schengen, misalnya masih belum bisa masuk apa. Tapi kalau dari pihak imigrasi itu memberikan sign bahwa ini orang ini harus ke Portugal untuk untuk biometrik, maka kedutaan Portugal akan merilis untuk visa Schengen-nya gitu. Itu nanti nggak bisa ke sana dong apa enggak. Kalau sana sudah memberikan sinyal, maka sini pihak embassy tidak ada alasan untuk menahan. Dan itu saya sudah tanyakan sendiri ke pejabat duta besarnya yang merangkap sebagai konsul ya. Sudah saya tanyakan sendiri mengenai hal itu. Kurang lebih itu nanti disambung di Q&A ya. Silakan bahasa Indonesia, nanti Marta akan translate. Marta will conduct the Q&A session. Okay, thank you everybody.
Okay. So we will continue.
Okay, okay. To cut it short, I will conduct the Q&A. Okay, let me, for the offline audience, do you have a question? In Bahasa, it's okay, I will translate for you. Oh, you're in English. Come here, because come here because the microphone for the online is here. No, microphone for the online is here. Nah, itu untuk di sini di ruangan. Right, just shout here, just shout.
Hi, so Ananta, I'd just like to ask you, let's say we take one property in a certain city, but for example, our student wants to get study in another city. Are we allowed to exchange the property in that particular city, or is it not allowed? Within that 5 years or after 5 years, when we are allowed to see it?
Georgina, can you kindly repeat her question because we can't hear the question, sorry.
Oh, really? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Georgina. Can you just tell us her question instead? Yeah, thank you.
Tadi masih Bluetooth gue on. Sorry.
Can you hear now? Hello?
Hello? Can you hear my voice? Hello?
Is it mute? Yeah, is it mute? Is it mute? Hello?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can only hear you, Georgina. So if you don't mind, you just mention it out loud, Georgina. You just tell us her question. I think it'll be easier for us to answer. Thank you.
Oh yeah, okay. I will do it for you. Okay. Nah, ini ya soalnya repot tadi pakai nggak enak kan pakai earphone loh. I need to turn off my earphone. Tapi kalau enggak, yeah, okay. Repeat the question and I will do it for you. Apa namanya?
So let's say we buy this one property in a certain city.
So Judith, if she buys a property in a certain city within 5 years,
For example, our kids want to pursue their studies in another city.
yeah, and her kids wants to pursue the study to another city.
Are we allowed?
Is she allowed to
Change.
change the property? Yeah. Yeah, in that particular city, or you know, is it within 5 years or after 5 years?
Antonio, would you like to answer that one? Are they is the purchaser allowed to change the investment throughout the 5 years?
Yes, the investor would be allowed generally to change the investment during that time, as long as the sale and new purchase take place in a period of up to 3 months, no more than that. Also bear in mind that for those who apply still in 2021 under the current rules, you will stay locked in for the 5 years. However, if let's say you purchase now residential property in Lisbon and decide next year or in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, with the new rules already in place to change the type of investment or the property, then you will have to choose a new property under the new rules, meaning Lisbon, Porto, big cities. No residential, only commercial. So if you still want a residential property, then you can switch, yes, but you would have to look at the islands and the interior of Portugal. Otherwise, you can still go for commercial properties within anywhere, or throughout the Portuguese territory.
From an investment point of view, what we can say is that choose an investment which will give you a good yield, and keep it for 5 years, and that it is liquid and sellable after 5 years. That might be the most straightforward way. We've actually done a sale and then buy something before, but you get like 3 months to swap, and it is for a property transaction quite rushed between a sale and another purchase. So what we have clients that have eventually liked Portugal so much, they eventually want to move there. So what they have bought, it has such a good yield that it makes sense for them to rent somewhere else using that yield. If that makes sense. So that could be one method as well. Or another method is commercial properties are very popular. So just buy something that's a commercial property that gives you a strong rental anyway. And after 5 years, you can sell it. And then your children can choose to live and work in a few cities. In fact, in Porto, in Evora, there's a good university there. In Coimbra, there's also a very good university there, or of course in Lisbon. So then with one sort of solid investment and property and generating income and yield, and you know that you're generating a capital appreciation, with that income, you can rent in Coimbra, which is a great university there, and also of course Evora, Lisbon, or Porto as well. Next question. Yeah, next question maybe.
Okay, let me summarize a little bit. Jadi Bapak Ibu kalau secara umum ya, kalau misalnya tahun ini belinya di Lisbon, ini saya tambahan yang ini ya. Kalau belinya misalnya di Lisbon atau Porto misalnya 280, terus tahun depan mau pindah, mau ganti properti tapi misalnya di Lisbon juga, itu ikut peraturan yang baru jadinya. Karena kan di sana udah nggak bisa untuk 280-nya ya, gitu. Oh, benar.
Aku ada nanya, Mika.
Yeah. Is it online or offline?
Aku online. Aku online, Mika.
Yeah. Wait. Okay. Let me give to my friend. Okay. Go ahead, Nyoman.
Oh iya. Bisa ngomong ya?
Yes, we can hear you, Nyoman.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Mika. Thank you all. Thank you all the panelists. Thank you for the time. Good afternoon. I'm Nyoman.
Hi.
I wish I could join offline, but I have some other meeting. Yeah, I have a question. I have a friend. Well, actually, she is really interested. She wants to move to other country, either in Europe or in Canada, and she still compare. But the husband doesn't want to move. The husband still here, but she wants to move. So it's possible she bought the property, but she's only housewife. Can she just buy the property there and then she stay there, or should be guaranteed she's also as a businesswoman, something like that?
Okay, yes, housewives can apply. I think Antonio can answer this question.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, quite a portion of our clients are housewives. So Antonio can answer this question.
Oh, okay,
Yes, yes. Well, the only issue, of course, is proving this is for banking purposes and the opening of the bank account mostly. So what you would need to be looking at is proving the source origin of funds. So if you're not working, you would need to say, well, where is this money coming from? Is it, for instance, money coming from a spouse, from an inheritance, savings, etc. So that's the only thing we would need to be worried about. Having a statement from you showing or saying that, well, while I'm not working, but I have this money ready for the investment, and this money comes from whatever it might be.
Yeah. So Anthony, she should provide like statement letter and mention that the money comes from.
Yes,
from
for
the bank
instance.
Also.
No, well, if you have a way of saying, listen, this money comes from savings when I was working, or it comes from an inheritance, or it comes from, I don't know, spouse is lending me the money, or giving me the money, etc. And then we can just take it from there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Judith.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mika.
Okay. Shall we go to the next question?
Yeah, wait. Let me yeah, okay. Soalnya microphone from my side ini.
For the golden visa holders, if we are to on a property or on a new property, are we actually allowed to take a mortgage? That's number one. And number two.
Judith, do you hear me? Do you hear her? No.
No.
Okay. Let me translate first.
Okay. You can repeat the question, Georgina.
Yeah. So she asked whether she can take a mortgage as a golden visa holder.
Okay. Antonio, maybe you want to answer that question.
Sure. This is, of course, a residency by investment program, meaning that money has to come into the country in order to be eligible for the golden visa. This means essentially that at the very least, the bare minimum that you need to invest is the threshold according to any of the options, whether it's the 500 option, the 350,000 option, or the 280,000 option. So at the very least, that has to be your own money. Above that, above those thresholds, you could ask for a mortgage. Okay, so above the 500,000, above the 350, and above the 280, you could ask for a mortgage, but only above the threshold.
Okay, that's great. Next question.
How long will
So Judith, if let's say she will take the mortgage, above the threshold, how long will it take for the mortgage?
Well, for the mortgage application?
How many years?
Okay, so we've actually got a quote before for mortgages, and they issue mortgages up to 20 or 30 years, 25-year mortgages. Actually, it is a very sound way of investing in property. So say you invest in something under the 350,000 scheme, but it is actually a very good idea to buy something for, say, 500,000 or 700,000 even, and then take a 50% loan. So in terms of the margin of finance, what is available for overseas is 50% margin of finance. And the mortgage duration is 25 years, I would say, on average. And that the wonderful thing about it is the interest rates are very low. Interest rate, we have got a quotation for a client before at a fixed interest rate of 2% and variable of about 1.3%. So, so actually it is a positive investment, because as you look at yield, the average yield is around 4%. And if you Airbnb, it can even be 5 or 6%. So it's a good way of purchasing property, actually, to buy a property beyond the minimum threshold and take a 50% loan. Good question. And wise investment. We can go to the next question. I'm reading a question here. What is the maximum age to apply for the Golden Visa? And Antonio will also be able to answer that, but there's no minimum age. Antonio, any minimum age for the Golden Visa?
Well, the minimum, well, you would have to be of legal age, at least.
Legal age, yeah. Sorry, maximum age.
Maximum,
of the
no,
golden,
maximum,
yeah.
that's fine. No concerns in terms, the main applicant can be as old or as young, keeping within, legal age, as he or she wants.
If we sell less than 5 years.
Hang on, Judith.
Okay, sure.
Novita will ask another question.
Sure.
So from a golden visa holder to will it
5 years. Okay, basically Novita asked from the Golden Visa to PR or a citizenship, how many years? Maybe you can show the previous slide, or you can just answer. Okay.
Sorry, repeat the question again.
So basically, Novita asked from Golden Visa to permanent resident or citizenship, how many years? And maybe you can, I suggest that you show the previous slide.
Sure. So in terms of the timeline, it's 5 years from Golden Visa, from the first card to the third card, and after the 5th year, we can apply for permanent residency or citizenship. One moment, let me go back to that slide. I'm getting there, sorry. But Antonio, you may also want to reiterate from Golden Visa to citizenship, how many years?
Yes. Well, first of all, the counter or the clock starts ticking the moment you receive your first card, not when you first apply. Only when you get your card, and you'll have the date stamped on the card. From that moment, your 5 years start counting. After you've reached the 5 years, if you wish to submit a citizenship application, you may do so. Right now, I would say these files, which are treated as any other kind of file in terms of course, to achieve Portuguese citizenship, there are different routes based on residency, based on marriage, based on ascendants, etc. And any of these are possible. And through the Golden Visa, it's just like any other residency route. And your file would, right now they're taking above a year, I would say, in being processed, being fully processed. So that's when the total duration of your 3 cards comes in handy, because you have 2 + 2 + 2, 6 years. So you're still covered for that last extra year while you wait for your citizenship application to be processed.
Okay, let's open for the online participants. Judith, can you read it for us? With the name,
Sure.
please.
Sure. There's some countries, there's Hani asked 27 countries. I didn't see Norway. Norway is not part of the EU. So yeah, Norway is not part of the EU. We can send again the list of the EU countries, but Norway is unfortunately not part of the EU. So this one I'll answer. There's an anonymous attendee that asks, rent charge approximately percentage per month. So and is it tax-free and for how long, and guaranteed rent term? So many of the guaranteed rental are for 5 years. So 5 years rental guarantee. Some properties are 3% and some 4%. If you accept the rent guarantee, then your tax is at 28%. And if you choose to Airbnb it, then tax is at 12.5%. In fact, there is a discount at the first 2 years. So, but in general, average is about 12.5% for rental. And the rental, you can expect if you rent it out long term, your property to fetch about a 4% yield. So the average yield is around 4%. And if you Airbnb it, of course, it depends on you know, the timing of the year and also where we are at in terms of tourism in Portugal. But these few weeks have been actually good weeks as Portugal has opened up. There's lots of tourists, as we mentioned, from the rest of Europe. And so Airbnb income is returning. And we've seen returns as high as, you know, 8 or 9%. But I would say that the average to expect is around 6% in terms of short-term rental return for Airbnb. And so, yeah, and that is at 12.5% rental. Another question from Antonio, an attendee called Antonio. I have a question. Is the Golden Visa processing fee 12,000 euro per person or per couple? Antonio Vignal, would you like to answer this? 12,000 euros per person or per couple?
That would be per person right now. So the cost of all the processing fees and the issuing fees for each card amounts to 12,000 per person.
There are ways for one of the spouses to go through the Golden Visa and naturalize the other spouse on a later time after the 5 years, and then after 3 years. So in essence, after 8 years. So once we get our citizenship and we wait 3 years time, we can apply for the naturalization of our spouse. And children actually below 18, as long as the children are below 18, can be naturalized once the main applicant reaches citizenship or then can be naturalized immediately or around the time that they achieve citizenship. But for spouse, they have to wait 3 years. Another question I will translate, Antonio. Do everyone have to stay the 14 days every 2 years? Does it include the main applicant and the family members that are reunified?
Yes, so both the main applicant and the family members that come on board need to fulfill the 14-day minimum stay period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so that is a condition so that they will be able to renew their card in the future.
Yeah. Again, there is a way that the kids, if they're below 18 and won't reach 18 over the next 5 years, to be reunified or to be naturalized once the main applicant has finished the 5 years. So again, we are happy to discuss this with you. And actually, I'll mention now, but we'll also mention it at the end. Usually the next step is a consultation. It's a free consultation. Thank you, Antonio Vignal. And usually in the next consultations, we would go through family dynamics, like, you know, how old are your parents that you'd like to reunify, or how old are your kids? And so those are questions we can cover. Obviously, each family dynamics are unique, and so we can cover that in a next consultation. Another question by Azhara. Yes.
Sure. Let me ask the offline audience first. Yeah, I will translate.
Sure.
Oh, hang on, Judith. So, yes. So basically, you know, you explore. So, yeah, okay. So Judith, basically she asked because her, is it son or daughter? Son or daughter? Anak perempuan apa lagi? So her daughter later on would like to go to the med school in Portugal, let's say. She would like to know which area is the best in terms of the minimum investment. I mean, the minimum investment, but also good in med school, something like that.
We might have to do a little bit of research on the like a property near a medical school. Can we get back to you on that one to look into firstly a medical school with English as either you know a combined English language and also properties around the area or the minimum investment. But certainly what you can do is invest in something with the minimum investment anyway, such as, you know, in places like Evora or Alcázar de Sal, and then again a rent near the med school, say in Coimbra, you know, or even in Lisbon, or even in Porto. So the minimum investment in general is 280,000, and there are properties with strong yield in these 280,000 areas, eligible areas, and then she can use that income to rent near Coimbra and everything. Also, I understand with the med school or with their schooling.
Judith,
yes.
please, I need to translate.
Oh, sure.
So again, you mentioned the 280,000 in where?
Okay, in Evora, in Alcázar de Sal, there are 280,000 options. Yeah. What we understand about education in Portugal is
Judith, let me translate. Hang on.
Oh, sure.
So kalau Judith saran itu mendingan beli properti yang minimal di daerah, ya kalau di Lisbon ada saya di Evora atau Alcázar do Sol. Nanti Evora atau Alcázar do Sol, ya. Nanti ada kok kalau nanti ibu kita bisa one on one dengan pihak Judith, nanti saya translate nggak masalah, ya.
Tambahan juga kalau untuk medik.
According to Marta, in Porto, according to Marta, in Porto, the med school is really good. Yeah. So jadi maksudnya gini, so ibu belinya di daerah lain, nanti rentalnya untuk dipakai untuk rental ke Porto. Yeah.
So there are actually 5 universities in Portugal that offers medicine studies. You not only Porto, you have Coimbra, 2 universities in Lisbon, Nova and University of Lisbon, as well as Minho.
Okay, I think it's a specific question. We can answer directly later, you know, with the participant. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So, okay, let me read the question. Okay. What do you mean, Alan? Alan asked, what do you mean rental guarantee for X years?
So, okay, every property is different in terms of what the yield that it offers. Some have no rental guarantee, but in our services to the clients, what we offer is to look after you for the 5 years and beyond. Actually, Antonio will be your tax representative anyway, so he will definitely keep in touch with you. But what our clients have been doing, and some of our clients are already in their 3rd year, is clients, when your property, if the property doesn't have a rental guarantee, when your property is complete, what we usually do is, well, give you an indication of a long-term rental. So say, okay, you know, this property agent will be able to rent out your property for, you know, this amount per month. And would you like that? And we will also give you a estimation of Airbnb. So Airbnb is very popular now, particularly in the central historical cities of Lisbon and Porto. And Airbnb themselves have analytics. So we will print out the analytics and let you know, okay, for this particular address, this is the likely Airbnb income you will get in January, February, March, April, etc. Of course, August is the most popular month because it's summer. And then you will see, okay, I think I want to Airbnb, or I don't want to risk, I want a long-term rental. And so we will be able to help you in that. So that is a scenario where the property does not have a rental guarantee. Where the property has a rental guarantee, different properties offer different rental guarantee. I would say that the average nowadays is 3% for 5 years, but some properties are 3% for 1 year, and some properties are 4% for 5 years. So it depends on the developer and also that particular development. So yeah, so that is the sort of rental guarantee. Each development is different. But we will be able to let you know once you choose the development what the actual rental guarantee is. And it's actually in a lease agreement, which you will sign with the developer, and it's a very clear agreement. One of the questions, yeah.
Yeah, can you read the question?
Sure. A question from Antonio as well. Can I have the list of potential property for investment in city center Lisbon with size per square meter? Absolutely, Antonio. After this, we will send you an email with these investments that I have showcased in Lisbon, and I'll send out the price list, and also in the price list there is the square meters there as well. So we can definitely email you this information. Also, Alan asked, rental guarantee means I'm getting rental income every month. Usually, again, each development is different. Each developer is different. Usually, it is paid out quarterly and sometimes monthly for the rental guarantee. But I would say usually it is quarterly. And yes, you would receive it. Even if there is no one renting the place, you would receive it because it's a lease agreement actually that you sign usually with the developer, and they will pay you quarterly whether or not it is rented out. The 3% or X% is based on what? It's based on the sale price. So in the events that you buy something for renovation, you actually have two contracts: one to buy the property and one for the renovation. But it's a total of both prices, and so it is the sale price that the 3% is calculated on, the total price. And so we've covered maximum age. There's no maximum age, and we've covered Norway. I will come to some of the questions which we have also received online. And some of those questions are, how do I apply during the COVID-19 situation? That is a really, really good question. Actually, you don't have to be there during the first part of the applications. And in fact, you only have to be there during the when you get the online approval. So that's the wonderful thing about this Golden Visa. Antonio and his team, Antonio Vignal and his team do most of the hard work for you from Lisbon. And the only time you need way to go is for the biometrics, which would only then should only then happen sometime next year. And next year, we hope that everything has opened up. Should not everything not open up, you can also apply for an extension, which we've been able to apply for our clients to go next year or the year after, when COVID, when more of us get vaccinated, I suppose. What is the visa type to have PR? What is the PR visa type? Can you summarize the PR visa type for us, Antonio Vignal?
Sorry, Judith, can you mention the name?
Actually, I don't know the name because this has been asked in the registration when they registered online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Antonio Vignal,
Yes.
what is the PR type, or what is the general permanent residency?
Well, permanent residency is just a title.
Yeah.
As its name suggests, it's a residency title, which is permanent, although you do have to renew it every 5 years. It's a very simple formality, nevertheless. And the when you get to Portugal, you would do so initially through a visa. And then you would apply for a temporary residency card. And then once you reach your 5 years, you can apply for permanent residency. Now with the Golden Visa, you go straight into the, you get your temporary residency card. Okay. So if, let's say you don't want the Golden Visa, then you still have to go, you would need to be eligible for one of the available visas, number one. Number two, you convert that visa into a temporary residency. And after 5 years, you convert it into a permanent residency, or you can also go through citizenship. So the thing is that with the Golden Visa, which is a bit of a misnomer because it's not really a visa, it's a temporary residency card. You get straight your temporary residency card. And you have much, much, much lower minimum stay requirements than a normal, any other visa.
Okay, Judith, I think it's enough. We have more than almost 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me wrap up. Okay.
There is an interesting question here. If it's a couple only to spend 280,000 euro investment, I would say that from the investment and including stamp duties and SEF fees, expect to pay around about 50,000 euros more. So 280,000 plus 50,000 euros more for the stamp duties and also the SEF fees of 12,000 each. So around that. But don't forget, the investment is something that will give you a yield. So you will receive a yield and capital appreciation from your investment. And our job, or particularly my job, I've been in the property business for 11 years. And actually, I was attracted to the Golden Visa because I was attracted to the property as an alternative investment. So these properties that we choose are a positive yield, right? You can rent it out and generate money from this. So it is a diversification of your investments or diversification of your funds. And chosen in the right areas, it will also likely give you a good capital appreciation. Like Jamie has made a very good capital appreciation on her property. So what we aim to do is recommend you a property where you will receive a capital return and also a yield. And so whatever you receive will more than cover the cost of the Golden Visa. And beyond that, some of our investors have doubled their investment. They've invested 350, and now their investment are worth 700,000. And Jamie is one of those success stories. And so these investments are good investments. They're sound investments. Like PwC has actually named Lisbon as one of the top destinations, the top destination actually to invest in the world. And so chosen wisely, the properties are beneficial, and it will cover chosen wisely the cost of the Golden Visa and beyond that. And the Golden Visa is the cherry on the pie.
Okay, one more. For offline audience. Okay.
Sure.
So basically, she asked, siapa namanya? What's your name? Phoebe. So basically, Phoebe asked, if let's say her son, for example, her son, you know, goes to school in Portugal, let's say 5 years, 4 years, 5 years, and after that, he will come back to Indonesia. What happened with the property? Can you rent it? Can you manage the rental?
Yes, we can, certainly. So after the golden or after the 5 years, in fact, you can sell it. So you can take the PR and citizenship and you can sell your property. So so that is one way we will assist you to sell it. Or you can actually keep the property and continue to rent it out. And yes, we will be able to assist you, but you will also be able to find so many real estate agents in Portugal by then who will be very keen to assist you whether you want to Airbnb your property or rent it out long term. That is that kind of industry over there where property is really hot. So a lot of agents will be approaching you. Do you want to sell? Do you want to rent? Can I please help you? So yeah, so either us or by then you would have gone to Lisbon and your son would know also a lot of people in Lisbon and Porto and also all the cities. So yeah. We can assist you and we might not need to.
Okay, Judith, let me translate. So, jadi Bu, kalau setelah 5 tahun dan itu kan apply PR ya, kalau mau habis apply PR kan, kalau habis apply PR, propertinya bisa dijual kalau mau. Kalau tidak mau tetap, maksudnya kalau nggak mau maintain propertinya bisa dijual. Kalau mau di rental bisa minta tolong pihak IPS atau nanti dia juga bisa kok di sana kalau agent property banyak yang bisa membantu untuk rental maupun jualin. One more. Yield after 5 years, setelah 5 tahun. Capital gain, Judith, after 5 years.
Okay. So we don't have a crystal ball, but I can tell you historically what the capital gains have been. So Lisbon and Porto, many of the main cities have actually, the property capital appreciation has been about 7 to 10% per annum. So it ranges since 2012 from 7.4 to about 10% per annum. So again, chosen wisely, these properties, will have a capital appreciation. We forecast at least 7% per annum. Even during this time, I can send you an article that Lisbon or Portugal property has increased in capital appreciation, has increased in value. So that's very, very good news. The economy is doing well. Foreign direct investment are still coming in. So property prices are growing compared to a lot of cities in Europe. Portugal prices are still considered undervalued, and so we see a strong chance of capital appreciation.
Ya, jadi paling enggak 7%, kita 7%, dan dibanding negara lain di Europe termasuk masih undervalue lah untuk Portugal. Ya. Okay, Judith, let's wrap things up. It's already 5 p.m. Okay.
Thank you very much and have a great afternoon tea, everyone that is in the live event. We're very jealous from Malaysia that we can't have afternoon tea together. Thank you for joining the event. Do contact Georgina. We will be sending each and every one of you a summary by email after this. Georgina, if you can give me the list of people to send, the ones that have attended the live event, and we'll send out these summaries and also a recording.
One important question kan?
Sure.
Bu Mika bisa datang.
Yeah.
Jadi kalau misalnya di Australia atau di Malaysia kita harus jualnya ke orang lokal ya setelah kita mau beli karena kita apakah di Portugal begitu juga?
So one more question. Okay, so basically, very asked, you know, in Australia, if you want to resell the property, you should resell it to the local people. What about in Portugal?
You can sell it to anyone in Portugal. There's no restrictions on resale. That's the wonderful thing. You can sell it to overseas and you can sell it to the locals there too.
Okay. Thank you everybody who joined us online, and thank you to all of you here offline. It's great to get to know you, and if you have further questions, please send us email or WhatsApp. Okay, thank you everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Georgina. Terima kasih.
Bye.
You guys.
Bye, Martha. Nice to meet you, Meko.
You. See you.